It seems like almost yesterday that regular show concluded. To not spoil those who still haven't binged the show, note that it's amazing, action-packed, heartbreaking, and in some cases, a little confusing. It's iconic and sets up Quintel with a big challenge.
What's the difference between the two shows?
Well, I guess the content, it's about a married couple having kids for the first time and what it's like to transition into that out of your 20s into your 30s. And like trying to make it work where like rent's super expensive, so they got roommates and living together with like other people, but you're raising your kid, and it's dealing with that struggle. Whereas like regular shows about coworkers, this is more about family, so it's fun to tackle those types of stories in a very adult way.
Making another animated show, people are going to inevitably take their feelings on regular show and set that as the comparison to Close Enough. Not saying that it's right or wrong, just stating an observation that I see within the community. So with 3 years of anticipation, Close Enough became a distant memory, with no new updates and very little coming from that camp. TBS's animation block fell through and Close Enough was moved to its current home, the upcoming streaming service HBO Max, which is already here. With the trailer here, a news article there, we anticipated many things. Was it going to be a regular show with no barriers? Was it going to take a completely different spin? Well, it was then, on July 9th, that everyone got to see Close Enough and all of the rumors are gone. So, is it good? Is it bad? Let's find out. Special thanks to these people for sending support. I really do thank you guys for your patience. Reminder, I do post these videos on Discord, Twitter, Reddit, Amino, and if you want to see your comments on this video, make sure to head to alphaj.show/panda and join the Armada. As soon as you start the episode, it greets you with a young girl, Candace being recorded by this guy, Josh, to jump a chair stacked on a table. As you can see, Josh sounds a little Mordecai-ish, except, well, it appears in this series that he's already married, so there's a bullet dodge massively, so far. You can always go to Rick and Morty route, if you know what that means. But yes, voiced by the main man creator dude JG Quintel, he offers his natural laid-back voice to portray another bro, a very goofy but good-natured father playing with his daughter. However, like regular show, and I guess I should say it here if you don't like the comparisons, I'm sorry this might be the wrong video for you, it's from the same person with the same art style and the same appeal, just adjusted to an older generation. But as I was saying, like regular show, the show goes super fantastical, and by that I mean fantasy, and cranks the problems up to 11, breaking a thermostat that drags everyone in the room into the YouTube copyright school hosted by the Happy Tree Friends.
What's happening? Ah! Turn on the thermostat!
Damn it, I just took a picture.
With that, you set the tone of this to be laid back, but not too brash, and have that level of charm that regular show had. I think this is hitting the nail on the head so far. They set the tone of parenting to be extremely chill, with Candace speaking very candid about being bribed with ice cream, and said father encouraging more of that behavior. If it sounds like I'm disapproving of this kind of parenting, I'm not. Functionally within the show, you can really have any kind of parent so long as you write them effectively to be entertaining, and they do here.
Is everything okay? You guys want to sit down, have a juice box?
We can't. We gotta.
Guys, never say I can't. Always say,
The fuck you say to me, you little shit!
The plot here revolves around Candace's quilt not being turned in, with the added salt in the wounds to their pride being that literally every other kid has turned in their quilt. And you can't even hide it, your eyes just naturally default to the empty space. Apparently in universe, Josh and Emily are new to the school, and the teacher labels it as, quote, a tough school that not every parent can handle. Also, apparently in universe, teachers send reminders via a class snap. Now, I'm not trying to be anti-social media, I couldn't because of the plug that I gave earlier, but I fear the day that your assignments come through as a temporary 8-second video reminder. Also, dog filters? Really? I know animation takes a while to make, but come on. Now, I also want to highlight what makes this show adult in a clever way that many other shows fail to hit. The dreaded, since we have an adult animated show, that means we have the ability to curse or show more adult themes. The problem that many shows like that run into is that rather than using them as a tool, they use them as filler. Obscene filler. It's like going from 2 + 2 into using a protractor. Don't be the weird kid who tries to use the protractor for everything. That's not how tools work. Don't be like Charlie. Here, the show so far seems to nod at the raised ceiling and applies it in a way that seems not only natural, but a seed of the character development, which the allowance of curse words did.
We're gonna do the hell out of that project.
Yeah, we're totally gonna kill it at the presentation.
Make those other kids' patches look like S-H-I-T.
Total S-H-I-T.
Are you guys spelling shit?
The joke wouldn't have worked unless it was a word that children societally aren't allowed to say, which aids in the development of Candace turning out to be very casual in her perception of the world, and also shines a light on the effort Josh and Emily put in to not try to turn her into a complete clone of themselves, who seem to be rather, let's say, not traditional. So we get a very short glimpse of the other characters serving as the rather slim B-plot, Bridget and Alex, who begrudgingly look after Candace as their parents go out to find materials to make a quilt. They both go off throughout the market and show a clear contrast in personality. While Emily appears to be cool and collected, she's clearly more responsible than Josh, who after being warned not to get churros and look for thread, defaults into looking for churros anyway. His scattered brain nature doesn't annoy me, because he doesn't do this out of malice or even extreme carelessness, yet. Oh, and speaking of personality, this show takes some notes from that other show's personality with the trademark clock wipe. If someone meets Quintel, they have to ask, what makes the clock wipe so essential?
Yes, senor. Pájaro pals, where we make birds look like you.
Looking good, Bird Josh.
Ah, gringo cabron.
Josh ends up getting his wallet stolen and Bridget and Alex end up losing Candace. However, she's in safe arms with the landlord and her adopted son, who also doubles up as the building's property manager, Pearl Watson and Randy Watson, respectively. If there's anything I can knock on the episode, the slim B plot isn't really all that interesting. I found myself many times just waiting for the A plot to begin once more. I do understand the grander scheme here is to introduce these characters, but they didn't compel me to see more of them in this episode. Now obviously I'm going to watch more close enough, but this episode didn't do a good job if I was watching this from a non-regular show fan's perspective. Upon meeting up again, Emily calls out Josh for being careless with his one task that wasn't even for him, but for his daughter, which is a step in the right direction. I just hope not in the direction of constant bickering, but we'll see. Josh also meets up with the kid who stole his wallet, and they have an amazing chase scene, and by that I mean I wouldn't be surprised if this was ripped directly from that other show. Now granted, an identity is being made here much faster than other shows like the Casa Grandes for example, where I can easily see myself saying there is a fundamental difference between a regular show episode and a close enough episode, even though they are made by the same creator in the future, but I need to see it to believe it.
Oh, please, good sir, scold us some more.
Oh, you guys are just kids? Where are your parents?
Grandad just got into an accident. He got trampled by horses, he did.
Oh my god. So, you guys are really good at sewing?
They really do cement Josh's character with actions like this. His takeaway from the situation places him in the spot to have more creative potential. I just hope not to the detriment of his character. We wouldn't want something like Season 8 Patrick or Season 10 Timmy's dad on our hands. The character development was so great that I can easily predict what Emily would say, even though she didn't because the episode is confident enough not to spell everything out. They end up making the quilt, although with a giant amount of self-awareness and skepticism. While the episode cleverly hints that while the characters are realistic, the show still has that fantasy liberty to create characters that aren't exactly seen in the real world unless you're in an apartment in the urban sprawl of Long Island, New York. It does create anticipation on how the conflict will raise up to 10, knowing that the classic regular show fashion, it starts where the plot is in a way where it seems ordinary and realistic, but then it shifts and twists and makes things supernatural and entertaining. The way they do that is simple. These aren't kids. These are, and this isn't a joke, elder shape-shifting sewing experts who make eternal bonds in exchange for things being sewn. I may be embellishing a little bit here, but Josh and Emily don't want to stick around to find out more.
Bird Josh! No!
With a noble sacrifice, minor but effective, we end what was a pretty minor but effective climax. There wasn't a big fight, but there didn't need to be. They had bigger things on their plate, such as getting the quilt to Candace. I also like how the scenes get a bit warmer as far as temperature, taking another page out of regular show. After completely vaporizing one of the stragglers, they come home to a clearly CGI fire truck and seeing that Candace was dropped off to school properly.
Hi! I made my quilt patch all by myself.
Oh, that's really great, Candace.
Although really bad, the teacher acknowledges the fact that since Candace made the quilt, they get an F for finally doing something right, as most parents around the school don't even let their children make the quilt. However, we get some solid dialogue from Bridget and Alex, who both acknowledge that they don't want kids, with Bridget adding that she is glad that she got divorced to dodge that bullet, which means at one point they were together, which does explain their banter in the car and the natural chemistry that they had. Is close enough good? No. It's great! I think this sets the mark of what people mean when they want a show rebooted. Yes, this isn't a reboot, nor is it connected to the regular show universe, but I think when people ask for something to come back or to be rebooted, they generally mean they want the core of what the show was to be retained if everything else, animation, writing, stories, and references are adjusted to another time period. Simply put, this isn't a regular show, but it is close enough, if you aren't tired of everyone using that quote yet. Special thanks to the supporters of August, and until next time, take care. Alpha out.